you have two options to ask your question. We have the chat bar on Zoom. If you click down the lower bottom side, there's a little chat function. It opens up a bar. You can ask your question through there by typing it in, or you can unmute yourselves and ask me as well. And I can do questions throughout all the animals. If you have any question at any time, feel free to let me know. But let's go ahead, guys. Let's get started. I am going to introduce you to our very first animal. This is actually one of the most common animals we get here at Wildlife Encounters. He is just a little guy right now, but he's going to get a lot bigger than this. Let me go ahead and grab him, and I will introduce him to you.
Isn't this great? I like it. What kind of animal do you think it is, Julie?
Like you said, he's just little right now, but he's going to get a lot bigger because this is, what is it, guys? Does anyone know? Do you have a guess?
Alligator. Crocodile, right. Alligator.
So no, that's a great guess. Yes, they were saying we hear a lot alligator or crocodile. Those are the two most common guesses that we have. So if we take a look, there's one easy way to tell the difference. Well, there's a few easy ways to tell the difference, but the best way is by the shape of their snout. Sorry, guys, the birds are going a little loud in here. If you guys can hear them screaming. If we look at their mouth, alligators have a rounded snout. It's shaped like the letter U, while crocodiles have a pointed snout. It's shaped like the letter V. That's the best way to tell the difference between alligator and crocodile. So alligators, U-shaped mouth, crocodiles, pointed snout. We can also tell by their teeth. So if we take a look at the alligator's teeth, generally we're seeing more of his top teeth than his bottom teeth. So when his mouth is closed, we're typically only seeing that top row of teeth. With crocodiles, we see the top and the bottom row of teeth. So if you guys go to the zoo, or if you're in Florida and you're trying to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, rounded snout, top row of teeth are visible where it's most likely going to be an alligator. If it has a pointed snout and we can see both rows of teeth, it's probably going to be a crocodile. Those are the best ways. So what we have here is an alligator. This is a North American alligator. He's just a little guy, full size. It's a male. He may get 14 feet long and weigh 1,000 pounds. So these guys get absolutely massive, really, really big animals, and they can live to be 60 to 80 years old. So extremely long lifespan for these guys as well. Now, of course, they are a carnivore. So he's eating meat. He's eating fish and frogs and toads and lizards and birds and snakes. Pretty much anything he can possibly find, he's going to try to eat it. And how he eats that food is with those big, sharp teeth. And I can even try to get him to open his mouth for you guys. If I gently just touch the front of his mouth, we'll see if he'll open up his mouth. So what we're doing, he has these little sensors, and we're just trying to activate those sensors by touching that mouth. There we go. He's going a little bit. Let me move this computer down a little bit so you guys can see a little better. There we go. So what's cool is you cannot see down an alligator's throat. He has a valve that shuts off his throat. This way, when he opens his mouth up underwater, water doesn't go into his lungs. So when he wants to bite onto a fish, he bites onto that fish underwater, and he comes up out of the water, opens up his mouth, and he swallows the fish entirely whole. So this way, water doesn't go into his lungs, and he doesn't drown. So kind of one of those cool adaptations these animals have. And when we say adaptations, a lot of our younger kids will watch a show called Wild Kratts. If you guys have watched or seen Wild Kratts, they call it a creature power. It's kind of the exact same thing. Creature power is an adaptation, just something that animal has, which allows it to be able to survive. One other cool creature power or adaptation they have is the ability to have their eyes pull under their head. So I'll bring him in close. If you guys watch, I'm not gonna push down on his eyes. I'm gently just gonna glide right over. Watch where his eyes go. And then they pop back up. So he can pull those eyes under his head for protection. So if another animal like an alligator or maybe a big deer or something along those lines tries to take a bite out of it or try to stab him in the head or take a bite out of his head, he can pull them underneath his head. But the second thing we see is called the nictitating membrane. It's a clear eyelid. It moves this way. So this way he can close that clear eyelid and he can see underwater. So if you guys ever gone swimming and you put on a pair of goggles, you can see underwater better. Alligators have built-in goggles. Those goggles allow them to be able to close that clear eyelid. They can see underwater and they can find fish to eat. Or house cats. If you have a cat at home as a pet, same thing. They have the same thing as well, but theirs isn't used to swim. It's to move through grasses. So if a cat is stalking its prey like a bird or a mouse and it's moving through the grass, it closes that clear eyelid. This way it can see underwater and it can pick up exactly, or it can see by moving through the grasses, and the blades of grass don't cut its eye. So it's a protective covering for cats. While these guys, it's a protective covering, but it also allows them to see underwater. And of course they have webbed feet. So if we take a look at those feet, you can see those webbed toes that he has. Those help him swim, but he primarily uses this tail. He has a strong, powerful tail that moves back and forth and he uses it as a paddle. These guys can swim 20, 30 miles per hour underwater. They are extremely, extremely fast animals, very athletic animals as well. So they're able to run on land too. We're seeing 20, 25 miles per hour when they're running on land, but it's only for short periods of time. They can't move that for long periods of time. You know, us humans, we can run for a long period of time. These guys, they run, you know, 10, 20 yards. They're done. They're tired. They're not going to spend too much energy doing that because primarily they're going to be in water when they're moving around. Does anyone have any questions on the alligator? Yes.
How old is he?
How old is he? We don't know his exact age. Someone had this guy as a pet and they left it in their house and their landlord ended up finding it. But if we had to guess, he's probably like 3 to 4 years old, somewhere around there. So he's still pretty young. Remember, 60 to 80 years for these guys. So he still has tons and tons of growing to do for this guy. All right, guys, we'll go ahead. We'll put this guy back. We will grab our next animal for you.
All right.
Our next one is the one that's making all the noise. Our next guy is the one making all the noise out there. He hears his buddy is outside flying around, so he can hear they're talking to each other. So he's screaming because he wants to go outside. This is Cyrano. Now Cyrano can see you guys on our screen here. Do you guys want to wave and say hi to Cyrano?
Hi, Cyrano.
He'll wave back to you guys. Cyrano is our green wing macaw. These are one of the largest macaws on the planet. Very, very intelligent animal and also very friendly. These are nicknamed the gentle giants of the macaw world just because they're such friendly parrots. But don't let that fool you. He has a huge beak and it is extremely powerful, and he can use that to crack open shells to eat seeds. So he can easily pick up shells, crack them open, and eat them without any problem at all. But he loves to wave to people. This pandemic has been a little tough on Cyrano because usually he's visiting schools and he gets to show kids all of his tricks. He gets to sing songs to them, but not being able to go out as much has been a little difficult for him. We have to still take him for car rides, even though we have nowhere to go. So we have to load him into the vehicle, drive him around for a couple miles, and then come back. So he feels like he's going somewhere to do something fun. So very, very intelligent animals, and they have to have a lot of enrichment. Now, Cyrano here, he can talk. I'll pull them up close to my mic, so we'll see if we can get to talk for you guys. Do you want to say hi? If he wants to. Hello. Want to say hi?
Uh-huh.
Do you guys hear that? So he can talk. He can say hi, hello, goodbye, pretty bird, probably want a cracker, a whole variety of different things. That vocabulary is just a way for him to communicate to us. If there's a certain sound that he hears or that he likes, he'll repeat it back to us. And then we give him a little treat. And his treat are almonds. So we're just giving these little almonds here. If you guys watch how he eats, you can probably pick it up on the screen, but there's tons of food falling out of his mouth. So you see tons of food falling out. He is an extremely picky eater. So when we give him these almonds, he is not just eating the almond whole like us people. He's actually peeling the almond. So I'll give him a little piece here. We'll hold him up closer to the camera. You can watch, he breaks it in half and he rotates the almond around, and he's spitting out the brown coating of the almond. He hates the taste of that brown coating. It's kind of like the equivalent of a child not wanting to eat a peanut butter jelly crust, or the sandwich, the crust of a peanut butter jelly sandwich, or the crust of a pizza. Same thing with him. He's rotating that around, peeling it off, and spitting it right out because he doesn't want to eat that part of it. He wastes, I think, like 50% of the almond, but he doesn't care. That almonds are, $10 a pound. He doesn't pay for them, so he just rips them up and spits them right out without any problem at all. Cyrano can still fly. Do you want to show him your wings? So he can still fly if he wants to. excuse me, these guys can fly about 20 to 30 miles per hour, and they can cover about 30 miles of territory in a single day. So they're covering huge areas looking for food. That is extremely, extremely important as these guys are flying around in the rainforest. They are what we call a seed disperser. So as he's eating those fruits, vegetables, and seeds, he is not digesting all the seeds. He's going to the bathroom and he's spreading those seeds all over the rainforest, helping plant new fruits, vegetables, and seeds. So very, very important animal for us human beings. So we see these really unique, intelligent animals, but they provide a very important function for us people by helping grow those fruits and trees and flowers. Us humans in the rainforest get food from those. If you've ever eaten a banana, avocado, or chocolate, those are foods that we get from the rainforest. If you've used products like rubber or wood, those come from the rainforest as well, and even medicine. About 70% of our medicine comes from the rainforest. It's either derived from a plant in the rainforest, or it's been discovered in the rainforest, or it's even grown in the rainforest. So animals like these play a really, really important role in helping us humans out quite a bit. All right, guys. Is there any? Oh, you guys have a bird. Oh, very cool. Oh, what was that?
You have an Amazon parrot. Where did you find her?
This guy, Cyrano, actually came from Rural Bird Sanctuary. It's a large bird sanctuary in Missouri. Yep.
You see, the picture behind you, is that actually him?
No, that's actually a different parrot. So they look very, very similar. So if we look, he is a green wing macaw. So you can see that green stripe on his wing. If we look here, this guy has a yellow stripe. So that's a scarlet macaw. So they look super, super similar. Even like the face, everything looks very, very similar to these guys, but that's the main difference. So those guys, scarlet macaws are an endangered species, while these guys are not an endangered species. Yeah, if you have an Amazon, really smart birds too. The Amazon parrots, they're very vocal parrots as well. These guys are just a lot larger than those guys, but Amazon's very, very smart birds too.
How old?
How old is he? I believe he's about 15 years old. 15, 16. Yep. So he's
and how long do they live?
They live a long time too, about same as alligators. We'll see about 70 to 80 years for these animals. So very, very long lifespan.
Ours is 35.
Oh, wow.
And it's a girl.
Oh, it is? Okay. Very cool. With Cyrano, when we got him from the bird sanctuary, they told us it was a boy, and we just assumed that they were correct. Like 10 years later, he laid an egg. So we found out it's not a boy, it's actually a girl. Yeah, so we had to find, it's funny, it was on Mother's Day that she laid an egg. So now ever since then, she lays eggs every year now. And she's in with another bird that came from the same sanctuary, and they thought that was a boy too. They both laid eggs last year. So then we found out the other one was a female too. So we have two female birds, and it's wild because everyone told us two female birds wouldn't get along, and then when they both laid eggs, they actually made a single nest together. They actually nested together, and they shared the ability to be able to lay on both of each other's eggs. So one would go get food, and the other one would roll the eggs under them, and they would sit on all their eggs. The other one would get food, and they take turns. So it's kind of cool to be able to see that. They get along really, really well.
How many eggs did they lay together?
What was that? Oh, how many eggs? I think 7 eggs total, I believe. Wow. Yep. Wow. Yeah, they like quite a few. One egg? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not for sure with Amazon. Did they lay a lot or not? I don't know a lot about those. But yeah, these guys, you'll see like 3 to 5 eggs they'll lay.
Wow.
All right. All right, guys. We'll go ahead. We'll put Cyrano back. We'll grab our next animal for you guys.
Bye, Cyrano.
All right. Our next animal is one that a lot of you guys will know from a famous movie. His name is King Julien. This is King Julien, our Madagascar ringtail lemur. Ringtail lemurs and all lemurs are an animal that we only find in Madagascar. So they are what we call an endemic animal. They are only found in one place in the entire world, in Madagascar, and we don't see them anywhere else on this planet. Now, ringtail lemurs, These are the most famous type of lemur. They are very well known because, of course, their tail. So if we look at King Julian's tail, he has this really long tail that sticks out. He has these beautiful rings, these black and white rings that stand out. So it's really easy to distinguish these animals. So a lot of people instantly know what they are. And of course, with movies like Madagascar, those guys were kind of the star of that movie. So we see a lot of kids and even adults know exactly what type of lemur this is. But of course, in Madagascar, we have dozens of different types of lemurs that live on that island. They are an endemic animal, like we said. So lemurs are only found there. We see a whole wide variety of different types of lemurs. We have ring-tailed lemurs like this. We have pygmy lemurs, which are little tiny lemurs. We have red-ruffed lemurs, which are these kind of maroonish, reddish, really kind of furry, fluffy lemurs in those areas. We even have kind of the completely different looking, it's called an eye. If you've ever seen those, they kind of are scary looking little lemurs. They're not cute little guys like this. So we see some really unique varieties and shapes, colors, and sizes of these different types of lemurs all throughout the island of Madagascar. Now, if we watch what he's eating, we're just giving him grapes here. King Julian, when I give him a grape, you'll see him tip his head upwards just like that. He does that because these are really juicy and he doesn't want to waste a single drop of the grape. So when he bites it, he tips his head upwards. This way, all the juice runs down to his mouth. It's just a natural, let me grab him some more grapes here. It's a natural adaptation for these guys. You know, in the wild in Madagascar, he may not know the next time he's... What was that?
Mountain. Do they live in the mountains?
Oh, they can live in mountains. Yeah. So yep, we can see these guys. They live in a lot of different areas. We'll see these animals live in mountains. They can live in trees. They can even be on the ground too, in like kind of desert areas. They call it kind of like a scrub desert. There's like, it's more dry areas. So yeah, they can live in rainforests, mountains, trees, a whole bunch of different areas. So yeah, they can live up in the trees and they can even live on the ground too. So pretty much anywhere these guys can go. Sorry, I'm going to grab his grapes down here. He chews through these grapes so fast. He can live in a whole variety of different places. They are very athletic animals, so they can climb, they can jump, and you guys can see these really big legs that he has. He has these really big, strong back hind legs, and he can use those to leap. He can jump 6 feet in the air. So he can jump over my head if he wants to in a single jump. And that's not running and jumping. That's just staying still and jumping straight up in the air. So if he wanted to, he could jump up and probably reach a basketball hoop if he wanted. Very, very athletic animals. And that allows him to be able to climb and maneuver, but it also allows him to escape predators. In the wild, in Madagascar, there's a lot of animals that may try to come after and try to eat him. So if something comes by to try to hurt him, he's got to take off. He's got to run. He's got to jump or climb to try to escape from those animals that may try to hurt him. Now, in the movie Madagascar,
he looks kind of like he kind of looks like a raccoon or
they do.
Something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
kind of
Is
do a
he
little
in
bit
that
because
family?
you kind of see. No, they're not. They're primates. So raccoons are what's called the Procyonidae family. So you'll see like raccoons, some monkey or some animals that kind of look a little similar to monkeys in South America called quadrumans. So they look a little along that family. Actually, oh, I forgot. I have an animal that's in the raccoon family. I'll show him to you guys. Yeah, a lot of people would think that they're actually a primate too, but they aren't. They're closer related to raccoons than they are these guys. But yeah, so these guys are primates, but they kind of look like that because they have those dark colorations, those dark and then those light colors that contrast with each other. So they kind of have that similar kind of similar colors that we see with raccoons or other animals that live in forested environments. Now, with these guys, they do have a really cool kind of culture. So in the movie Madagascar, we saw the King Julian. He was the king of all the lemurs. He was the boss. He was in charge. He told everybody else what to do. That is not how it works in lemur culture. In lemur culture, it's not the boys who are in charge, it's the girls. So the queen lemurs are in charge. So in a really big group of lemurs, there's one queen lemur and she bosses everybody else around. But all of the girls are above the boys. So they kind of have a hierarchy system. So all the guys or the girls are up on top and all the guys are below them. The girls boss the guys around. If they come across a tree with food, the guys have to sit and wait till all the girls are done. If they don't, then they get in huge trouble. So they have to listen to the girls. So the boys will fight amongst each other to try to be the boss. So if we have a group of boy lemurs, they will actually fight each other, and how they do that is really unique. They aren't biting, kicking, and punching. They're actually having what we call stink fights. And I'll try to show you how he does it. So if I can get him to reach for this grape, come here, bud. Nope, he's just hanging onto my head. Right about here on his hand or on his wrist, he has a little bald spot. So right about here on his wrist, you might be able to see it. There's a little bald spot. Oh, he moves a little too fast. There's a little bald spot, and that bald spot is a scent gland. So what happens when these lemurs, let me move one of these lights here so we can see it a little closer if he comes by. So he moves that bald spot, or he takes that little scent gland and he rubs it all over his tail, and it makes his tail smell really, really bad. And then he waves his tail in front of another lemur's face, and whichever lemur smells the worst is the winner of the fight. So they have stink fights, and this can last up to an hour in length of time. So they can last a really long period of time. They just keep going back and forth trying to outsmell each other. So it's kind of a really unique way on how these guys can show who is in charge in lemur culture. So kind of a, oh, there we go. You can see it right there. That little bald spot right on his wrist. I'll try to come in closer.
Do they have claws? Or do they have suction cups?
Oh, that's a really good question. So they actually don't have claws. They actually have fingernails like us people. Here, we'll try to bring him in a little closer. I'll try to show this to you. So if you guys look, if you can look when he's on my hand, so yeah, they don't have claws. They actually have little fingernails, just like us people. So when he's climbing on me, he's not scratching me at all, which is really nice. He's not grabbing and scratching like a cat would do. I actually just feel his fingers grabbing onto me. So yeah, they don't use their claws to be able to dig into trees when they're climbing. They have such good grip that they literally can just grab onto tree branches with their hands and grasp on and hang on. They're way stronger than us humans compared to body size. A lemur like this, he can jump onto a branch and hang on with one hand, and then use his legs to leap off another, 6 to 8 feet and grab onto another tree. So very, very athletic animals. Yep, but they don't have to use those claws. I can show you, I have another animal that uses claws though, and they use their claws to be able to grab onto trees, to be able to hang on to things. Now, of course, this guy, you saw him eating a lot of grapes. These guys love fruits. So they are a seed disperser too, just like the parrot. So when he's moving through the rainforest or whatever environment, the mountains he may live to, when he's eating those fruits and seeds, his body isn't digesting all of them, and it sounds gross, but he's pooping all over the areas, and he's helping spread seeds all over those areas to help grow new trees, plants, fruits, and vegetables. So really, really important animal, specifically in Madagascar, because we have a lot of trees and forests that are being depleted. We're destroying a lot of our forests in those areas, are getting burnt down. The trees are getting torn down, and we're losing a lot of those wild places there. But fortunately, with animals like this, they're able to help grow new trees by spreading those seeds. All right, guys, do you have any questions about King Julien, the ring-tailed lemur? No? All right, guys, we'll go ahead. We will put him back. I'll grab our next animal for you guys. Our next one is going to be more of a scary one. This is, of course, a snake. This is an animal that people have a little more fear for. Brenda, are you a little scared of these? I saw you raise your hand. They're an animal that a lot of people are intimidated by. We're a little scared of these guys. They're a lot different than us people. Snakes can't smile at us. They don't have fur like a cat or a dog. They don't really wag their tail to show that they're happy. So a lot of people are fearful of these animals, but there's nothing to be scared of. Snakes like this are not out there to hurt us people at all. They're actually very important to us human beings. Snakes like this eat a lot of mice and rats. So if you have a snake in your house, in your school, in your library, in your backyard, they're actually just there just to eat mice. They're not there to hurt us humans at all. They're just there to try to help us by eating a lot of the rodents that live in the areas in which we live. And how they find those animals is pretty unique. So if we take a look, we can look at the snake's tongue. Let me try to move this light over a little bit so you guys can see a little better. There we go. You can see him sticking his tongue out. He's picking up chemicals in the air. He's picking up those chemicals in the air. He's trying to smell to see what's going on around him. And he sticks that tongue out. There's a left and a right side, so he can smell exactly what's going on around him. So he can pick up exactly what's nearby. He can take off, and he can find that animal. He can track it. But he also has eyes. Those eyes allow him to be able to see his food as well, or his prey. He does not have ears, So he can't pick up sounds like us people, but he's picking up vibrations, so he can tell exactly what's nearby. The coolest thing these guys can do, they have what's called a heat sensory organ. So they can sense heat with their face. So in their head, they have these little organs, and it allows them to pick up the heat that's around him. So if it's dark outside, if it's nighttime, and an animal like a mouse walks on by him, he can pick up the heat from the mouse. He knows exactly where it is. He can bite the mouse, and then he eats it. And he is not venomous. So even though this kind of guy kind of looks like a venomous snake, he has these bright colors. We would think he's venomous. He is not. He's a constrictor. So he bites his food, he squeezes it, and then he swallows it entirely whole. So he does not use venom. He's just using his muscles in his body. He's biting, squeezing, and he's swallowing it entirely whole in one big bite. And then he swallows that food in one big bite. He doesn't have to chew it up. So remember, us people, we have flat teeth. We chew up our food. So if you're eating a piece of pizza, chew it up, and then you swallow it. He doesn't have flat teeth. He has about 100 teeth, but they're all curved backwards like a fish hook. So this way he can't chew his food into small little pieces. So he's got to bite onto it, and he swallows it in one big bite, and he's good to go. Now, a snake like this is called a milk snake. You guys actually have these. You guys are in California, correct? You guys have milk snakes in California? Perfect. So yep, we've got milk snakes here in Nebraska as well. You guys have milk snakes in California too. And a lot of people will mistake these milk snakes as a venomous animal because they're brightly colored. And if they get scared, they rattle their tail like a rattlesnake. So even though he doesn't have a rattle, it's just his tail, he can move his tail so fast that it actually makes it rattle. It vibrates. So he shakes his tail really, really quick, and it makes a rattling noise. So a lot of people think it's a rattlesnake, and they'll kill these snakes, but they're actually not venomous at all. They're actually, the reason why they're shaking their tail is just because they're scared. Most snakes do that. If they get scared, they start shaking their tail, but they can do it at such fast rate that it actually vibrates so much that it makes a really loud noise. So a snake like this, if you see one, not venomous at all. There's an old saying to be able to tell the difference between a venomous snake or a non-venomous snake. It doesn't work 100% of the time all around the world, but here in the United States, it works pretty well. If red touches black, it's a friend of Jack. If red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow. So if you see a snake that is red and black, and those red and black bands are touching each other, it's a friendly snake. It's a friend of Jack. But if it's red, yellow, and black, and that red and yellow are touching each other, then it's a venomous snake, and you have to watch out. But that does not work in Mexico. In Mexico, it's the opposite. So it doesn't work there. So you always have to have that special caveat in there that if you go to Mexico, don't use that saying. It's totally different. In other parts of the world, it's totally different too. But here in the States, pretty good. It's a helpful indicator to be able to tell the difference between venomous and non-venomous. Otherwise, you can tell by the shape of the head as well. Sometimes the pupils, but it just kind of depends. But important thing with these animals, they're not out there to hurt us people. They're very friendly animals. They're sometimes maybe fearful of us, so they try to slither away from us, but snakes are not there to hurt us at all. We've got nothing to worry about with these guys. They can climb pretty cool. I can show you guys how he climbs. Let me set him on this climbing board. And I will grab the computer here. Can you guys, here, let me move around here real quick. We'll see if this works a little better. So there you go. So what you're gonna see here, I'll set this down so you can see it a little better. Oh, he's going around the backside. These guys can climb. So just like this, he's able to climb. Do you guys see how fast he can climb up that board? So without any problem at all, he's slithering right up without any issues. So imagine this guy in a tree. He can easily move up without any problem at all, slithering around, easily navigating all throughout the forest environment in which he lives. So extremely, extremely athletic animal. They can move and navigate a whole variety of different regions, mountain regions, forested areas, even in barns and homes. And how they got the name milk snake. Sorry, let me move this light, guys. I had to move this back here real quick. There we go. How they got the name milk snake. Farmers would find these in their barns, and they thought these animals were eating or consuming the cow's milk. Since they would find these guys in barns and the cows were in those areas, they thought these snakes were grabbing onto the cows and drinking all the cow's milk. So they called them milk snakes. Of course, not true. The snake was just there to eat the mice. So they were actually doing a really important function by eating the mice in the barns, preventing those mice from eating the farmers' crops and even eating the cows' grains and corns and things like that. All right, guys. Any questions on the snake?
Question. When they
Yes.
eat the mice or the rats and they eat them whole, do the claws from the mice or the rats claw the inside of the snake?
Nope. So the snake, the mouse or rat, when they swallow them, is dead. So they'll kill their prey before they swallow it. But they could get possibly injured when they're trying to eat their prey. So if a snake bites onto a rat or a mouse, there is the possibility of that animal possibly scratching the snake or biting the snake during when they're fighting each other. But if the snake does successfully squeeze and constrict the animal, it will kill the animal and then it will swallow it whole. So the claws won't hurt the animal. Their body can digest all the bones of the snake or the mouse. So digest all the bones, the claws, everything like that. So yeah, they have really, really strong stomach acids to be able to do that.
And how many days does it take for them to digest?
It can take a while.
Oh.
So you might see up to 3, 4, sometimes up to a week, 3 to 4 days, up to a week for them to digest their food. So a snake like
And
this,
they won't eat anymore?
Nope. Yeah, they'll go a long period of time. So a snake like this, this guy may go, he may eat one big rat, maybe every month, and that's about it. And some snakes, if you get those really big snakes like anacondas in the rainforest, sometimes they've been known to eat. They'll eat like a large deer, and they're good for 3 to 4 months.
Oh my God.
So if they eat something really big, they don't have to eat very often. They're not like us people where I eat 5 times a day, I think. But we have to constantly eat. These guys, they eat one big meal. They're good, and they don't have to eat for a long period of time.
All right.
All right, guys. What was that?
How about spiders?
Do they eat spiders?
Do they eat spiders? Nope, this guy's not going to eat spiders. Those are going to be too small for him. We may see some really small snakes, may go after small insects, like garter snakes and things like that. Little guys, they may try to eat some bugs. But a snake like this, he's just too big. He won't be interested in a bug. All right. Do you like spiders or not like spiders?
I don't.
You don't like spiders? Let me go, guys. We'll put this guy back. We'll grab our next one for you. All right, our next guy is the one we were talking about that is related to a raccoon. So this is called a kinkajou or honey bear. So these animals are actually in the raccoon family, but it's an animal that a lot of people would believe to be a primate or a monkey. So these guys live in Mexico and South and Central America. They are excellent climbers, but if you look, Brenda, you asked about their claws. The lemur did not have claws. This guy does have claws. So yep, you can see he's climbing here. Let me show you. Here we go. We'll show you his back foot. Perfect. So let me close this here. There you go. So if we look, he has those really big claws that allows him to be able to climb trees. So the lemur had fingernails like us people, but this guy is an excellent climber by going up and down trees, but he can't jump as far as a lemur. So the lemur can jump 6 to 8 feet. This guy's probably doing 3 to 4 feet or so. But being able to have those claws allows him to be able to easily grab and climb and move up trees when he wants to. And he is a nocturnal animal. So if we look at his eyes, we see those really dark eyes. He is going to be awake at nighttime, and he's going to be searching for food, and he's going to be eating pretty much anything he'll find. Any fruits. He loves fruits. We're giving him grapes as well, bananas, but he'll eat insects as well. So a spider, if this guy saw a spider, he might try to eat one if he had the opportunity to. Probably not going to be too often, but if he was hungry enough, he might try to do it.
I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Is that Timon from Lion King?
No, that's a meerkat.
Oh,
On Lion King. Yep. So we get that a lot. They kind of look a little similar. So meerkats, we're going to see those guys in Africa. This guy is going to come from Mexico and South and Central America, but they do have some similar characteristics. Meerkats are going to be more on the ground. They're going to be moving around. This guy is primarily a tree animal. So even if we take a look, I'll see if I can show you guys this. Great, bud. If I hold my arm up in the air, he starts to grab onto my arm and he hangs on. So if you look, I'm not holding on to him. He's doing all the work. He has what we call a prehensile tail. So he's grabbing onto me. I don't have to hold his tail. he's doing all the work and he's grabbing with his legs as well. And then he even still holds on to my thumb as he's moving across my arms. So having that prehensile tail, just all of that means, prehensile means they can grab with their tail. So he can grasp onto things with his tail to be able to hang on to make sure that he doesn't fall off. So just like my body, he thinks of me as a big tree. He's just, or I guess a small tree. He's just hanging on just to make sure he doesn't fall. And then when he sees grapes over here, he'll wrap his tail around my neck, bud, and he'll use it as an anchor to reach out and to grab the grape. So this way in the rainforest, if a banana was hanging down and he had to reach really, really far out to grab that banana, he can grab on with his tail as an anchor onto a tree branch, reach really, really far out, and then grab that banana, bring it in, and then he eats it. These guys
almost like
called,
a fifth hand, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's basically like a fifth hand. It allows him to be able to climb really, really well in trees. So I mean, you can see now he's reaching further out, and he always keeps that on something, just as a safety mechanism. Like you said, a fifth hand. So this way, if this tree branch were to fall, he's got his tail wrapped somewhere safe. It's like a big safety net. So yeah, these guys can climb extremely, extremely well, move all throughout the rainforest in which they live. And he does the same thing as the lemur does, where he bites onto the grape, tips his head up, makes sure he gets all the juice that he possibly can. Sure, bud. Now look this way. There we go. He's also a pollinating animal. So what he does, he finds flowers. He shoves his face in the flower. His tongue is about 6 inches long. So he sticks his tongue all the way out to the flower, licks the flower, licks out all the nectar, pollen attaches to his face, and he becomes a pollinator. So he's pollinating fruits and flowers and vegetables all over the rainforest. So just like the lemur, helps spreading fruits, flowers, and trees. So it has a really, really important job for us people. He also has awesome camouflage. So if you imagine this guy moving around at nighttime in the rainforest is extremely dark. He's going to be on brown trees moving all around. So he can camouflage. He can hide. He's the same color as his surrounding areas. So it makes it easy for him to be able to navigate and move to see exactly what's going on nearby. Oh, want more grapes? All right. Anyone have any questions on the kinkajou, also called the honey bear? No? All right, guys. We'll go ahead. We'll put this guy back. His name's Oliver, by the way. We'll go ahead and we'll say bye to Oliver, and we will grab our next animal for you guys. All right, our next animal, I'm going to go grab for you guys. Our next animals are outside running around, but I want to go grab them for you. Just give me a minute or two, and I'll bring them in here, and I'll introduce you guys to them.
What do you think he'll bring out so we can see you guys?
You guys may be over here then. They get pretty excited.
Lion.
They're leashes. Come on, guys.
Unicorn.
Here you go. A unicorn? All right, let me move this down. All right, guys, you ready? So this is Bella and Nala. They stop moving around here so fast. Like I said, they get pretty excited. Sit, guys. On a treat. Sit. Oh, sit. Sit down. Sit. So this is Bella and Nala. These are wolf hybrids. So these are wolves that are mixed with a domesticated dog. So we have Nala here. She is a lower content wolf hybrid. And Bella, come here, Bella. Oh, she's going to investigate something over there. Come here, Bella. Come. She is a higher content wolf hybrid. Sit. Bella, sit. Good job. Now, wolves are an animal that has been in a lot of our human history. We even see them depicted in a lot of folklore books, even children's books like Little Red Riding Hood. And unfortunately, in a lot of those books, they're kind of misunderstood. They are depicted as these mean, aggressive animals that are going to hurt us humans, but nothing could be further from the truth. Wolves are not out there to hurt us people. They are actually very scared of us people in the wild. They think of us humans as a predatory animal. Oh, let me move this cord real quick before they trip on it, guys. Here we go. Sorry. We have to plug in our computer to the internet to make sure we have a nice secure connection. But if it's on the ground, I know they're going to trip on it and unplug us. So Bella, come here. And they are very destructive. Come here, Bella. So Bella is actually smelling something that she can try to destroy right now and dig into everything. But these animals are not out there to hurt us people at all. They're very fearful of us humans. That's how they've been able to survive all of these years. Here in Nebraska, we used to have wolves in this state, but we unfortunately hunted them out to extinction. And a great example of these animals that were brought back is in Yellowstone National Park. So in Yellowstone National Park, they did a reintroduction program. They were able to reintroduce wolves. They let them loose back into Yellowstone National Park, and it actually helped the park quite a bit. In Yellowstone National Park, they released these animals, and the wolves would go through and they would hunt the elk in the park. So they would move the elk to different areas. By them moving the elk to different areas, it allowed more trees to grow because the elk did not eat all the trees. That helped bring in more beavers. The beavers were able to eat those trees, gnaw them down, and to be able to build dams with those trees. So then we have big, larger lakes and ponds, which allowed us to have more fish and more birds. So just by introducing elk into those areas, we saw us have other animals started to really do a lot better in those areas as well. So really, really important animals for us people. They are on the top of the food chain. So they're eating all the other smaller animals, which is important because it kind of balances out the food chain. You guys have learned about the food chain and learned, the bigger animals eat the smaller animals, but it keeps them in check. This way we don't have too many of the smaller animals get too big of populations. So it actually helps out quite a bit by having animals like these. So even though wolves are kind of these kind of scary looking animals, some people may think, very, very important to us people. They also have some cool adaptations. Wolves like these will actually be able to smell something about 2 miles away. So they're looking for food. They can smell their food from 2 miles away. So imagine just sitting at home and be able to smell, your next door neighbor a couple blocks away cooking a piece of pizza. That's kind of the equivalent of what wolves are able to do. They can pick up that food from miles away, be able to find it, and they track it down and they eat it. They can run about 30 miles per hour as well, and they can have exceptional vision, so they can see miles away as well. So very, very fast animals with really, really heightened senses to be able to find their food. Come here, guys.
How old are they?
Now, this is Bella here. I think she is, oh man, I'm really bad at time. I think she's probably 11 or 12 years old. And Nella's a little younger, so Nella's probably like 9 or so, somewhere around there. I have to count because my dog, I think my pet dog, I have a Chihuahua. She's 14, I believe. And I think Bella came to us 2 years prior before I got my dog. And they were good friends. They actually go on hikes together. It's kind of funny. Everyone's scared of the wolf when we go hiking, but it's actually my Chihuahua that will try to attack you. My Chihuahua sits and barks at people and tries to bite them. My Bella has no care in the world at all. She's super sweet and will let anyone pet her. So kind of funny, and how we kind of have this idea of appearances on these animals and which ones are the intimidating ones or not. Come here, guys. Oh, they're tearing something up. I'm not for sure what they're down into now. Come here, guys. Come here. Bella. Oh, they found the treat bags. They're eating all the treats. Hold on 1 second, guys. Their favorite treats are these pepperonis. So they found them and started to rip them apart. All right, guys. That is all I've got for you guys today. But before we end, does anyone have any questions about any of the animals?
Do you have any turtles and tortoises?
We do have, we have turtles. Do you guys want to see a turtle?
Yes, please.
I can show it to you. Let me put these little destructors back. So give me 2 minutes, and then I'll grab a tortoise for you guys. Come on, guys.
Sure.
You ready? Come on.
Michelle, can you draw a wolf?
Yes, I can.
I'm working on that. I just can't get his face just right.
I would love to see that. Cool.
Yeah, I just can't. I've been watching and sketching, but I can't get it just right. So I don't want to. I'm still working on him.
Yeah, keep working on it and you'll get it right.
Okay.
So, yeah. Takes practice and time, but that's cool.
You know, other things I
You're
kind of.
gonna have to draw one.
But
We're gonna have you lead a drawing class, Annette.
what's that?
Drawing with Annette.
Oh, no.
Why not?
No. But like I was surprised with the Yosemite Sam and other things I've done, like a cat and stuff, but I can't get the wolf's face just right.
All
So,
right, so
Michelle,
here
that's
is a
gonna be
tortoise.
the next drawing. Oh, wow.
Zip. So this is a red-footed tortoise. These usually when we think of tortoises, we think of them only living in desert areas, but this is actually a rainforest tortoise. So these guys live in South and Central America. So strictly a rainforest tortoise. You have to have high humidity, warm temperatures. But he's called a redfoot because he has those reddish markings on his feet. And
He
another
looks
kind of cool.
old.
Yeah, he's actually not too old. This guy, we don't know his age. He was actually found here in Omaha. The Humane Society here just found him walking around. They're not native to here though, so it was somebody's pet. So somebody probably let him loose. So we're guessing his age, probably around like 5 or 6 years old, somewhere around there. But they can live a long time. They can live like 50 years. And some tortoises can even live 200 years. So if you look at like Galapagos tortoises, they can live 150 to 200 years old. It primarily eats a lot of fruits and vegetables, but one cool thing about these guys, they eat meat too. So they're an omnivore. So they'll actually go through, if there's a mouse that has died in the rainforest, they'll actually eat the mouse. They'll actually eat other animals that are laying on the rainforest floor, which sounds kind of gross, but it's very unique because we typically don't see that with tortoises. Usually we don't see these animals eating meat, but it's actually a part of these animals' diet.
Nice.
I have a question.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, my colleague Anna Camacho on the upper hand, she asked if they eat pizza. Like
No,
native
they don't
food.
eat pizza. Nope, he would not care about pizza. But if you have any mango, he would eat that like crazy. That's their absolute favorite food is mango. These guys love mango. So if they'll eat that all day long if you give them the chance to.
Does he have teeth?
No, they don't have teeth. So with tortoises like these, they're actually, I'll hold them up a little closer. You can kind of see it has a beak. So it's more like a bird beak. So they don't have teeth like us people. If you ever get the chance, if you Google this, if you look up sea turtles' mouths, they actually don't have teeth either, but they have these little tiny, it's like these little cylinder rods. It actually looks like something out of a science fiction movie. It's actually kind of scary. They have these rows and rows of teeth that are in their mouth. It looks like something that you would see in a monster. And that's how they consume their food as well. So these guys, they don't have that, but they just have a little bird beak and they chomp down their food, chew it up and eat it.
Okay.
All right, guys, any questions about the tortoise?
Do tortoises,
No, we thank you very, very. Oh, go ahead.
do tortoises poop like humans or like rabbits?
Well, I mean, they do poop, but these guys, it's I guess like rabbits, kind of like when they go to the bathroom, it's like a bunch of little pebbles. This guy, it's one big piece. If that answers your question, but they do go to the bathroom a lot. A lot of times with these guys, we soak them in warm water, and that usually gets them to go to the bathroom. Like I said, they like a lot of humidity and warm temperatures. So with these animals, they go into warm water and then they start to go to the bathroom. They pee a lot too. He actually just peed right here on my leg. So yep, they're constantly going to the bathroom.
Rabbit poop like pellets, or is it more like human poop like a solid mass?
It's like one solid mass. Yep. So yeah, it's not like the little tiny rabbit, like rabbits and goats kind of those little tiny pellets.
Right.
Yep. It's one big like large fecal matter, one large poop.
Ew.
Hey, every animal poops. So yep, that's just kind of a part of it for these guys.
They pee in the water?
What was that?
I know fish pee in the water where they swim. Do they pee in the water where they
Oh yeah, if you put these guys in water, and if you want to know something really funny, when you put him in water, the first thing he does is he usually farts. So when you put these guys in water, it's like a little hot tub. They just start farting like crazy.
They relax.
Yeah, they relax. It starts getting things moving, and then they usually poop. So they usually go to the bathroom pretty fast after that. All right, guys.
Well, if
that's
no
all
one has anything else,
yeah.
yes, thank you very much. Kemp, for your presentation. Awesome. Very
Oh, yeah.
good
Thank you guys for
information.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. And hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Thank
Same
you.
to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, everyone. We will see you all at 2 o'clock with Dora. Go have some lunch and we'll see you later. Enjoy your lunch. Bye now. Thank you, Kim.
Enjoy our poop. Somebody's gotta say it. Oh, okay.
Was that the baby?
All right. See you guys. Have a good afternoon.
All right, have a good
See you
one.
later.
Bye now.